If you've been hearing about CombLine and wondering what it actually does, who it's for, and why so many stylists are using it as an add-on service, then this video is for you. Today, I'm breaking down what CombLine is, how I use it, where I place it, who it works best for, and why it can be such a powerful enhancement when used alongside other extension methods. I'm also going to answer some of the most asked Google questions around this method because there's still a lot of confusion about what CombLine actually is designed to do. For those of you that are new here, my name is Sam and I've been doing hair extensions for over 13 years. I've been educating for the past 5 years and I have taught for major brands. I'm also a salon owner and I work behind the chair 5 days a week. So everything I share here comes from real salon experience, real client results and years of hands-on education. And if you want more in-depth education, please make sure that you check out my YouTube member section. So I share extra tutorials, advanced breakdowns, and more detailed education. And if you want to shop my favorite tools and products, I have linked everything down below in my Amazon storefront. So let's get into CombLine and how it can completely elevate an extension transformation when used correctly. All right, so one of the biggest things that I want to clear up first is that CombLine is not a full head extension method. So this is where a lot of people get confused. CombLine is more of an enhancement service that is used alongside other methods, hence why my client has a weft in. So it's designed to help in areas where you may need extra support, extra coverage, extra fullness, or just more customization. So rather than thinking of it as a full install on its own, think of it more as a strategic add-on that can take your overall result to the next level. So that's what makes it useful. It allows you to refine, customize a result in a way that feels more targeted. I love to reach for CombLine where I feel like I have a little bit of a drop off between my methods and I need to fill in that area, but maybe something like a K-tip or an I-tip is too heavy. So it's really designed for those really delicate areas. So for example, the hairline, you can also do it through the part, in the nape, even in the crown to help redirect the hair. Maybe they have a split in the back of the head. That is exactly what CombLine is for. It's for where other methods drop off. So kind of get it out of your mind that it is a full head because it's not. And I would never use it as a full head placement because the way that CombLine is designed to be used is that it sheds. So what happens is your clients are going to come in every 4 weeks for an infill, like a lash extension. So let's get into it. And then that way you can really see how it works in the hair. So the areas that I would be placing CombLine are these areas here. Maybe they have like a widow's peak. Maybe they have a lot of breakage in their bang, especially if they're like an over-processed blonde. Then these kind of areas here are where I would want to work my CombLine. The other areas are here as well, and then through the nape or maybe even the part line. So what I'll show you today is just a few of those CombLine bonds and what a difference they can use in this area. They're really nice to use as like a color enhancement as well. So if you have a client that maybe wants some highlights, but their hair is really, really fragile, then you can go in and do a bit of a color enhancement here. It is a true strand by strand install and less is most certainly more when it comes to CombLine. All right, so I have my CombLine shield and let me show you your section size and where you're going to be dropping it. So with your shield, you can see it's already marked out how big of a section you want. So you can see it's super duper tiny. So I'm going to pick up my section and it really is just a slither of hair. Really, really, really thin section because it's going to be fine area. So look, that is pretty much as much hair as you would be picking up. Then you're just going to slide in your shield and then I'll use this pin just to secure it. I'm then going to pick up the hair and this is honestly too much. So I'll split that in two and then I'll just cut off what I need. Something that is crucial about CombLine is that you install it on clarified, clean hair. You don't want any buildup, any product, any oils in there, because this adhesive will break down. And then what you'll find is it will bloom and it will go kind of like cloudy. So it's really important that that hair is clarified. My preference is to do it before the install, and then that way I know it's going to be the perfect canvas. You also want to make sure that you have flat ironed the hair and flat ironed the extension hair, and then that will just eliminate any flyaways. So I'm going to pinch the hair here, and then with these fingers I'll support it, slide it down, and I'm going to take my hair and I'm just going to fan it out above here, and I want the top of that hair to meet the top of the line here. And then my adhesive placement is going to be from here, this line, to this line here. So all I'm going to do is with the comb, I'll just comb the natural hair. Then with the CombLine, I'm going to spread the adhesive, comb again, spread the adhesive again, and then I'm just going to brush that in. These do need to dry a little bit, but it dries just through the air. You don't need any other sort of element. So what I do is I leave that to dry, and then I move on to my next section, and then I come back to it. Okay, now I'm going to leave a little bit of wiggle room in between those CombLine bonds, and I'll pick up another one here. And with your CombLine, you're working in a bricklay pattern. So if you were to do another row under, you would fill in there to create really nice coverage. But you can see these bonds are absolutely teeny tiny. So hence why it's designed for these really fine areas, because they're super duper discreet. Then I'll pick up my hair, and what I do is I cut off the top of that hair, make sure it's really nice and straight, fan this out, pick up my hair on the head and just make sure I'm fanning it out on top so that it can truly integrate. If I've got any rogues, I'm just gonna take those out. Go in with the comb, comb, swipe with the glue, comb, swipe with the glue, and then brush. And there's my second CombLine. You can see it is really, really discreet, and that is that true one-to-one density match. I know some people get put off by the fact that these shed, but you want them to shed. The reason that you want them to shed is because you're putting them on such delicate areas of the hair. You don't want them to live there for an extended period of time, because if they do, what you'll find is you're gonna have all of these extensions that have no hair to support it. In these fine and fragile areas, shedding is great, and then you just infill it every 4 weeks, just like a lash extension. So with lash extensions, usually people do fills like every 2-3 weeks. And with CombLine, it's every 4 weeks. And what I'll do is I'll just fill, and then usually at like around the 6-month mark, that's when I'll go in, remove everything, and then just start from scratch again. So we'll pinch the natural hair, put those extensions on top, make sure they're fanning out, because we really want to make sure that we're truly integrating them into the hair, and then just brush. And let's do another one in this area here, leaving that little bit of wiggle room in between the bonds. Another question that I get asked from stylists about the CombLine is, where do you buy the kit? I do believe you have to go and take the CombLine class in order to buy the CombLine kit. As of right now, I could be wrong, but I don't think they sell the kit separately. I think you have to go and take the education before you are able to get a kit. You can't just buy it. Once you get the education and you go and take the class, your kit is provided in the class. And then I know I've had problems where my tool has broken, or I need glue, I need replacements for the area of the tool. And if that happens, it's fine. You're able to purchase those. I have seen that there are manufacturers that have created like dupes of the CombLine as well. I can't say I've tried it, so I don't know how good they are, but you know, there's always going to be a dupe out there. One dupe that I see is the UV, so I do have a video on that as well. I have a video on the UV light. I'm going to be totally honest with you, I personally have had better luck with CombLine than I have with the UV. When I do CombLine, I truly get 4 weeks, if not longer, out of it. Sometimes I have clients that come back and they have very minimal shed with the CombLine, and that's testament to the method. Like, it's great. The glue is fantastic. So I love that. Rather than with the UV, I definitely would have people that would lose more than 50% of it within the first week or so. I would also have it where the whole thing would just completely slide out after the first wash. So from my experience, I could be wrong, it could be my technique, but I do think that the CombLine is better. So for me, it was a really good investment to make. I had a consultation recently and she asked about CombLine. She actually found me through one of my CombLine videos online, and she asked if it was good for her hair. That was super duper fine. And my reply was, you are the person that it was designed for. So CombLine was designed for anyone that has thinning or balding or any sort of hair loss going on. CombLine is the perfect method for that because it is so discreet. So you can see you don't really have that visible attachment point with the CombLine. And like what I was saying before, it's designed to shed, which is what you want, because you don't want it on these really, really fine pieces of hair for a prolonged period of time. What you'll notice is with the CombLine as well, over time and after washes, the bonds will kind of like split, and then they'll just create like even teenier, tinier, smaller bonds. So they literally just look like little strands of hair, which I love. I have clients come and maybe they have a scar in their head and we try and cover it the best that we can. And CombLine is great for that because you can create fullness with that CombLine without overwhelming the natural hair with a ton of weight. So now I'm going to just kind of go in from under and then just fill in these little areas here. Because like I said at the start, we are using a bricklay pattern. So now I'm going to do a little bond here. And the rules kind of go out the window when it comes to CombLine, in that you don't really need to work an inch away from the hairline and an inch away from here and leave room for this. Because with CombLine, where they're so small, the whole purpose is that they are designed to be used in areas where other extensions couldn't go. So let's talk about pricing of the CombLine. So you definitely have a preference between how much you price. You could price it per area, you could even price it per bond, and it's totally up to you what you decide to charge. For me, typically I do like $300 per area, and that includes everything. The hair itself is actually not the most expensive part of this service. It's the labor that's expensive, because as you can see, I'm not really using that much hair. All I'm using is mainly it's the labor and that adhesive. The adhesive, last time I bought it, I think it was about $50 for one little tube. And I can use this for a few applications, which is nice, but it's definitely labor intensive. So for my CombLine applications and fills, I book out a good chunk of time because I'm washing the client, I'm blow drying them, I'm putting the extensions in and styling them. So I charge $300 per area, and usually per bond, it works out to about $15 to $20 per bond. CombLine is definitely on the higher end in terms of pricing. However, you're not usually doing a ton of them. It's just kind of like the bare minimum, because with CombLine, as you can see, it's the bare minimum that makes such an impact. Okay, so when should CombLine be used? CombLine should be used whenever you feel like you just need that extra touch, the extra cherry, the extra icing on your cake, whatever it may be, and you feel like, okay, I wish I could put a K-tip here, but even if I make it really, really small, you're still going to see it. That is your perfect situation for CombLine. It's also great because with your CombLine, you can still color the hair with them in. So if you have a client that needs gray coverage, you can color, and the color is able to penetrate through the bond as well. So I love it for that reason. One thing that you have to be really careful about with CombLine is oil. So oil is what removes it. Unlike K-tip, alcohol removes it. Alcohol don't really affect these bonds, but what does is oil. So whenever I remove them, I use an oil-based remover. So I do notice if someone is using a lot of oil, then they are going to be prone to more slipping with those CombLines. So I'm just going to do one more CombLine to show you, but already you can see how amazing this method is. And it's great for just creating that really nice, natural looking coverage on those low density clients or the clients that have suffered from hair loss, postpartum, whatever it may be. So I'll do one more here, and it's very visual, the placement. So I get asked a lot about the placement of CombLine, and I always let people know it's so visual. So in that CombLine consultation, I'll ask that person where they want to see the coverage. For example, I just had a client recently. She wanted the coverage in this bang area here, and then she also wanted it through her part. She said that she felt like she was thinning, and then because of that, it looked like her part line was spreading out and getting further and further apart. So what we did is we did a few CombLine in this bang area just to create fullness, and then we did them through her part as well, and then that created the illusion of fullness and thickness as well. There really are no limits when it comes to CombLine. You can put as much or as little as you want, and you can definitely put them in so many areas where you just wouldn't typically put an extension, because you can see how discreet they are. Even when they wear the hair up like that, you could see I brought them all the way to here, but they're still super duper invisible. So when it comes to aftercare with these CombLine, you want to make sure that you're brushing the bonds, same as the keratin. You can brush over the top of the bond like that. Nothing's going to happen. They feel so nice and flat. You don't even really feel them in the hair, but it is really important that you brush, just like with any method. When you're washing your hair at home, you want to avoid any sort of oil-based products, and you want to make sure that you are drying your hair from the root as well. Good thing is you don't have to avoid hairspray with alcohol. It's more so those oils. Another thing that is important as well is that you pre-book those appointments so that you know every 4 weeks you're going to go in for your fill. That way you're just going to get the best out of that install. So that is a breakdown of CombLine as an enhancement method and how it can be used to elevate an overall extension result when it's applied correctly and strategically. I really wanted to make this video because there's a lot of misunderstanding around what CombLine is, and hopefully this gives you a little bit more of a clear idea of how it fits into the bigger picture of extension work. It's not about using it as a full head method. It's about knowing when it can enhance, support, and improve the final result in a more customized way. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see in the next video. If you want more in-depth education, check out my YouTube members section, and don't forget my Amazon storefront is linked below with my favorite tools and products. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Oh, fuck, it wasn't recorded.
Again?
You have to do the whole thing.
You idiot.